The Madhausers were founded originally by a group of architecture grad students over at Georgia Tech. This was around 1987 when homelessness really emerged in the public consciousness. And so these architecture grad students saw a lot of the ad hoc structures that the homeless folks were putting together, and they said, hey, you know, as architects, we should be able to design and build something that'll work better for these guys than what they're putting together with cardboard boxes and whatnot. I was a Georgia Tech computer science undergrad. I had some friends and they were going to the Madhausers, and I just got drawn in naturally. The Madhausers are an all-volunteer group of people who come together to build individual shelters for homeless people and give them away for free. It's all amateur type of thing, and that brings a certain amount of enthusiasm to it right there. I have led teams of Cub Scouts, not even Boy Scouts. I've led teams of Cub Scouts who have built perfectly good huts. We're here, we're doing something, and this thing that we're doing is good.
One of the most important volunteers, I have to say, is Nick Hess, and he combines some of the best qualities of our different volunteers. He has the technical abilities that it takes to design and build and troubleshoot the structures that we build. He also has the people skills, so he can lead a group of volunteers. He can take a group of folks and say, you need to work on this and you need to work on that, so he can work with other volunteers successfully, make them feel comfortable, get people excited about volunteering. He also has real-world skills. He does not mind going out into the woods looking for homeless people in homeless camps. One can definitely see Nick's passion for helping the homeless in not only the work that he does for the Madhausers, but also the work that he does with the homeless just outside of the Madhausers on his own time.
When I was young, I was an outsider. And I've had a sympathy for outsiders from that all of my life, and I understand what it's like to not be listened to not even be regarded simply because you're not part of the in-group. There's a fundamental value to every person. There's a fundamental amount of respect that we should show for every person. There's a fundamental need that every person has and every citizen has. And what we have done is we have abandoned our obligations to our fellow citizens, our obligation to help, and we have literally left them on the side of the roads. One of their biggest problems is that you don't know that you're going to be there tomorrow. You don't know whether or not the things that you have worked so hard to accumulate are going to stay there, whether it's going to be ripped off or whether the police are going to come and chase you away. With what we're doing, you have a little bit more of a sense of home, more stability, more security, and more protection from the elements outside. Our clientele is really what you're thinking of when you hear the word homeless. They are very much male for the most part, older, from their 40s into their 60s. We have a number of vets, and you know, folks with just sort of different issues. Sometimes we have problems of alcoholism or drug addiction or mental illness. Other times you just have people who have fallen on hard times. The way that we choose people is that we have what I like to call a rigorous two-step process for vetting. First criteria, do you need it? The second criteria, and this is the catch, this is the kicker, is do you have a place for us to build it? We do not run the camps. We do not have a plot of land somewhere where we can just pop these down and you know, manage it or anything like that. So you've got to come up with a place for us to build where if we build it, it will not get torn down. You know, we're there to help. We're not there to get you in trouble. We're not there to get us in trouble. And we're certainly not there to have several $100s of material and hours upon hours of volunteer time wasted.
We live in a tent. Anybody can just walk in there. We're flooded every time it rains because the rain comes up through the floor and everything, and it's sagging and everything. This would be a great opportunity for us to get ourselves together by having that stability. I know when I come back, everything is going to be secure for us. Ain't got to worry about no animals getting in there bothering our food and everything. And we can actually bathe in there because we're going to have a wood-burning stove. And we are very appreciative of you all coming to help us to put us in even better shelter than what we already have.
My name is Royce. They call me R3. Royce, red truck, red trailer. I haul hut panels for the homeless to be built to building sites. And also during the week when I'm retired, I drive around construction sites and big companies that sell lumber and supplies, and I show them pictures of mad housers building huts, and I get donations from these large companies. And just the other day, I got 4 plastic chairs. I have been collecting construction stuff from sites where they have lumber and plywood. My neighbors give me clothes and sleeping bags and shirts and jackets for homeless people. And so it's easy to be nice to people.
The Mad Housers are funded entirely by individual donations. We're a 501c3. We get donations from construction sites and from small businesses, studs here, paint there. I don't think that we've actually had to purchase a door in 8 years. The building process is a 2-step process. Now, it can be combined into one day, but generally we split it over 2 days. First, we manufacture the walls and the floor. We do that inside of our warehouse, usually in the evening, and then we deploy those walls to the location where the structure is going to be built to erect it, have ourselves sort of a barn raising in small scale into the structure. Now, we've got 2 basic types of structure. First, we have the classic hut. It's a 6 feet wide, 8 feet deep, and 10 feet high from the base to the top of the gable here. It's got a loft in it, so your square footage pushes about 80 square feet. It also comes with a wood-burning stove that's going on the inside of the hut. So we have to have a chimney, which we created a big enough burn box that a person can load it up with fuel once and have it burn throughout the night. And they put off a tremendous amount of heat. We also manufacture out of 55-gallon drums a stove shield so that heat from the flame does not actually touch the walls, but is instead hits the stove shield and is reflected back into the hut. Now, for folks who would like to have a shelter but who are afraid that a 10-foot high structure is just too obvious, will get them in trouble, we've built the lowrider. The lowrider is only 4 feet tall. It's 4 feet tall, it's 4 feet deep, and it's 8 feet wide. It's built on a single sheet of plywood, and it is basically a large wooden tent. You can sit up in it, you can drop an entire single bed into it, but you can't stand in it. So all the walls of that are insulated. They have rigid insulation built into the walls. We also bring in a storage unit, which is a 4x4x4 cube, and a front porch, so that gives a person a place to actually hang out where they're living instead of being huddled inside of their structure all the time. We have put out the plans and the advice on how to put together these structures, how to find clients, how to organize all out, and it's as simple of language as we can on our websites, that anybody who says, you know, this is a really cool idea, I'd like to do this, can research it and come back with all the facts to empower themselves to empower other people. I would love to be going through the woods someday and find a Mad Hauser hut and have no idea who put it up. You know, that would just thrill me. It takes about 25 hours to complete one of these things. There's the effort of putting together the panels, and then there's the effort of erecting the panels into a unit. But really, the more people you have, the faster that goes. After we do a build, I'll usually come back a couple of weeks later, and the change is dramatic. It's like you give somebody back 2-3 years of their life. I mean, you can see the lines have sort of gone away from their face. They look younger. They've put on some weight. They're clearly sleeping better. But it's also in their surroundings, you know, because where we've built, usually it's been kind of junky a little bit, you know, where they've been camping and stuff like that. It's picked up, you know. You can tell that they're healthier, they're happier. And that's just an amazing feeling to have.
I am so thankful for the Madhouses, for what they have done for me and my husband, Douglas Terran Johnson. We are thankful. We are no longer with and worried about being flooded or anything. You all's organization is just wonderful. It's just amazing. God has sent you all to us, and I thank you all for that. I really do. I really do. Thank you. God, thank you.
You're gonna get me all gooey. At the end of the day, I'd like for the Madhousers to be able to just hang up our hammers and stop, you know. But as long as there continue to be homeless people who are being generated by the policies that we have, then we're never going to be able to stop, you know. If a person gets sick, or if they have poverty, or if they're mentally ill, or if they get addicted, what happens? There's nothing there to catch them, and they just land on the street. All we're trying to do is scrape people up who've hit the street and keep them somewhere safe until somehow they can get back on their feet.